Have you ever questioned the foundations of your morality? What if the values we hold dear are not objective truths, but rather social constructs designed to maintain power? Welcome to A's Book Talk, where today we diving deep into Friedrich Nietzsche's provocative work, Beyond Good and Evil. Nietzsche, a 19th-century German philosopher, was a radical thinker who challenged every core of Western philosophical and moral traditions. His ideas were shaped by the intellectual ferment of his time, a period marked by the rise of science, the decline of religious belief, and the emergence of new social and political ideologies. Born in 1844, Nietzsche initially pursued a career in classical philology, but he soon turned his attention to philosophy, where he developed his own unique and often controversial perspective. He wrote prodigiously on a wide range of topics, including morality, religion, epistemology, and aesthetics. However, a debilitating illness forced him to retire from academic life in his late 30s. Despite his physical suffering, Nietzsche continued to write until his mental collapse in 1889. He died in 1900, leaving behind a body of work that continues to provoke and inspire readers today. Beyond Good and Evil is one of Nietzsche's most important and accessible works. Published in 1886, it serves as a scathing critic of traditional morality, particularly the Christian ethics of good and evil. Nietzsche argues that these concepts are not divinely ordained or objectively true, but are instead human inventions that have been used to control and manipulate individuals. He contends that the Judeo-Christian tradition, with its emphasis on self-denial, humility, and altruism, has fostered a slave morality that stifles human potential and creativity. This slave morality, he claims, is a reaction against the master morality of the noble and powerful, who value strength, courage, and self-assertion. The book is structured as a series of aphorisms and essays, each exploring different aspects of Nietzsche's philosophical vision. He dissects the prejudices of philosophers, revealing how their personal biases and hidden agendas have shaped their systems of thought. He challenges the notion of objective truth, arguing that all knowledge is perspectival and influenced by the knower's values and interests. He questions the belief in free will, suggesting that our actions are determined by unconscious drives and instincts. One of Nietzsche's central concepts in Beyond Good and Evil is the will to power. He argues that this is the fundamental driving force behind all human behavior. It is not simply a desire for domination or control, but rather a fundamental striving for self-preservation, growth, and self-overcoming. The will to power is what motivates us to create, to innovate, and to leave our mark on the world. According to Nietzsche, the highest expression of the will to power is the creation of new values, values that affirm life, celebrate strength, and embrace individuality. Nietzsche also introduces the concept of the Ubermensch, often translated as overmen or supermen. This is not meant to be a literal superior race, but rather a symbolic figure representing the ideal of human potential. The Ubermensch is someone who has overcome the limitations of traditional morality and created their own values, someone who embraces life in all its complexity and suffering, and someone who strives for self-perfection. It represents a state of being that is achieved through self-discipline, self-knowledge, and a relentless pursuit of one's own unique potential. Furthermore, Nietzsche argues that traditional morality is based on a herd mentality where individuals conform to the expectations of the group in order to feel safe and secure. He encourages readers to break free from this herd mentality and to embrace their individuality, even if it means going against the grain. He advocates for a revaluation of all values, a radical questioning of the beliefs and assumptions that underpin our society. So, what can we take away from Nietzsche's Beyond Good and Evil. First, it challenges us to question the origins and foundations of our own moral beliefs. Are they truly our own, or are they simply inherited from our parents, our culture, or our religion? Second, it encourages us to embrace our individuality and to reject the pressure to conform to societal norms. Third, it reminds us that life is not about seeking pleasure or avoiding pain, but about striving for self-overcoming and creating our own meaning and purpose. Nietzsche's work ultimately calls for us to embrace the will to power, to create our own values, and to live life to the fullest without being constrained by outdated moral codes. Nietzsche's perspective, though challenging and sometimes controversial, provides invaluable lessons for navigating the complexities of modern life. It encourages critical thinking, personal responsibility, and a courageous pursuit of individual authenticity. Beyond Good and Evil remains a relevant and thought-provoking work, urging us to examine our values, embrace our potential, and create our own meaning in a world often devoid of inherent purpose. Thanks for joining us on Ace Book Talk. If you enjoyed this exploration of Nietzsche's philosophy, don't forget to subscribe for more book recommendations and insightful discussions. Until next time, keep reading, keep questioning, and keep striving to become the best version of yourself.